Okay, we want our host system to be able to log into this system so we can transfer files, and the easy way to do that is with OpenSSH. So let's install that. So sudo run stuff as root, which we need to do an install. And we want to do apt get install OpenSSH server, I think. Let's see if that works. And it's going to ask for the password. And say yes when it says you're going to use up some space. And you should, at this point, have a OpenSSH server as soon as it gets done installing that is set up and running and ready to go. And we'll need that IP address to be able to log in from our host. Which, let me bring up a host window here so that we can give it a spin here in a second. And it finished installing. Now this black window is on my Macintosh, so I should be able to. Now if you remember over here I did IP adder. I forgot what the address is, so I have to do it again. IP adder, and we are looking for that address right there. Okay, that would match with my network. Now you may be on a network that has a 172 or a 10 dot at the beginning, but figure out which network it is and then SSH with the username at 192.168.0.34. And yes, it has a server. You want to say yes to this fingerprint. Hopefully you are connecting to your own computer. Okay. And enter the password from when you installed it. And now, okay, we should have a connection to the system. We can do ls, and we can pipe the output from ls to some file like, okay. And now if we do ls, you see it's there. And if you come over here and you do ls, you see, yes, it works. Now we can use this to copy files between the two systems. So I can go back to my other system. This is my host system. Notice it's not UB something, it's Victoria, my Macintosh. And I can say that I want to copy some file like SCP to do. Okay, my daily to-do list that says I'm making this video today. And copy that up to Philip at 192.168.0.134, and I have to provide it with a path, and the path I want is home Philip. And it prompts you for the password. And it says that it copied it. Now you can copy in the other direction too, and if I come over here and do yes, you'll see that I've copied the file up here. Now, after I get done modifying the file, let's copy yes, it works back down. So I can say SCP Philip at 192.168.0.34 home Philip. Yes, it works to here. And yes, I get the file back down here on my system. So this gives you a means by which to copy the files between the two systems. All right, there's one more thing we can do with SSH that is really incredibly convenient, and that's we can set up passwordless login. And to do that, first of all, we need to generate a public-private key pair on the machine we're logging in from. So from the host, and to do that, it is Ssh Keygen. And I like to use the type of key as an ED25519 key. This is an elliptic curve key, and it's faster than an RSA key, which is, I think, the default. And we'll do this as named Philip at gmail.com as the identifying name on it. And when we do this keygen, it will put this key into this particular file path, okay, that we have. I don't put passphrases on my keys because then when you use the key, you have to enter the passphrase. So make the passphrase empty, and it looks something like that. Now, if we go and look in .ssh, we will have a couple files, these two files. And what we want to do is we want to take the public file and we want to put that onto our virtual machine in a specific location. So the way to do that is we'll SCP this file. You do not want to lose the private file. You want to do the public file to at 192.168.0.34 in my case, and we'll put that in temp. Yes, we want to log in, and we've copied it over. Now we can go over to that system and we can take the file and we can put that into a thing called authorized something. I'll remember the name. We'll see the name when we get there. And once we do that, then we have passwordless login set up. We can actually log into that system and copy files from our host to that system and back without having to enter a password. So it makes it much more convenient. Okay, on the virtual machine, we want to be in a directory called .ssh. It should be there now. It's probably empty. Well, I have some things in it. I have some known hosts because I've logged in and stuff, and I've created a key for it. But we want to do is we want to create a file called authorized keys. It is. And so let's take, normally what I do is I do cat/temp ID that to, and that's to concatenate on the end of a file when you copy it in, so you're not overriding any authorized keys that you already have. There aren't any now, but it will create the file. And you have to change the permissions if it is not already set to the correct thing, and you want 0600 for authorized keys. Now, if we go back to the system that we were on, our host system, and we go and log into that, what should happen is we should log in without ever typing a password, and that means it works. Now, you can take and generate keys from the virtual system and put them on your host in the same authorized key file. And that way you can log in both ways. So you can copy from and to from both sides. You've put the systems together so they work nicely and you can move files around. There are lots of other capabilities of SSH, like making tunnels between systems and things like that. But for our uses in this class, just getting it to copy files effectively between systems is hugely important.